Hey everyone, happy Tuesday to you. We are live. It is May 6th. I can't believe we're already in May and we're live on so many channels. And I'm going to actually have my producer on today. Aynaz Cyrus is going to join me and she's going to share where we're live on because apparently we're live everywhere. She just told me a few moments ago. Aynaz Cyrus, I've told you before, she's my producer. She has a liveuptofreedom.com. And I've told you a little bit about her. She was a child bride. She was tortured, abused, imprisoned, and she knows Sharia and Islam like nobody's business. And I know a lot of times we don't really know about that because we haven't learned about it in school. And so I'm so incredibly excited to have her on today to weigh in on some current events. And she's lived this, she's literally lived this, and she's seeing these things on the horizon and blowing the horn and saying, wake up, America. Now they're on our soil. We're silently being invaded. And so she's spoken to thousands of people. Her videos where she's talked about her childhood and her escape from the Islamic Republic of Iran have gone viral, millions of views. And so I wanted to have her on today to talk about what's happening in America and really to encourage us and inspire us to act. And even if it's just using your voice, and you can't speak if you don't know what's going on, right? And so that's why I wanted to have her on here today. So Aynaz Cyrus, welcome to Mission for Freedom. I wanted to have you hop on and tell our listeners everywhere where we're live today.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on. We are live on, I believe, 11 channels. That includes the Glazov Gang YouTube channel. We are live on my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel. We are live on Mission for Freedom YouTube channel and Rumble channel. We're also live on X America News, Rumble, X, and Truth, and YouTube.
Wow.
Find us. We're everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And follow Mission for Freedom on whatever platform you love. We'd be so honored. X American News is a great place. Also, Mission for Freedom Rumble. That's very easy because you'll just get an email twice a week. We're live at 4 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday and Thursday. And we're live for you. We want to chat with you. We want to hear your thoughts, share what's going on in your local area, or just weigh in. I would so desperately love for you guys to weigh in on this topic. I'm incredibly curious. If maybe you all have already heard about this and you are praying and equally concerned and talking about this, or if you're just learning about it for the first time today, we would love to have you hop on the chat and talk with us live as we discuss the current invasion of America. I wanted to also say that, we're really trying to build a Mission for Freedom army and connect with you. And so if you share what's happening locally, or if you ask questions, or if you have broadcast ideas, some different topics or guests, send them our way at missionforfreedompodcast@gmail.com. That's missionforfreedompodcast@gmail.com, or just email to say hello, because let's be honest, we all love to connect with like-minded believers. I want to talk about Aynaz for a little bit. She has an American name, Annie. I told her Aynaz, I know you'll remember this. When I first met her, I was like, what is this Aynaz Anni Cyrus business? Like, why are we calling you Annie? Because I just can't imagine going to another country and not being called Miriam because people couldn't pronounce it. And I get that. And I think that's kind. But do you remember, Aynaz, when I was like, how do I say your name? Because I'm not calling you Annie. I'm so sorry.
Yes, and it was actually pretty refreshing because you picked up on my full name when you saw my email signature, which I always sign my full name. I don't think anyone else has picked up on the existence of a name there that's Aynaz. Now, I'll be fair, I have had, one of my previous bosses always called me Aynaz. However, to be fair, he speaks Hebrew, so it makes it much easier for him to pronounce Aynaz. Few other handful of people. But yeah, I remember when I told you, you're like, you shouldn't have done that. No, you're going to make everybody call you Aynaz, and if they can't, it's their problem.
That's right. Because I literally said this, guys. I was like, at first I called her Aynaz, like N-U-Z. And my son was like, I don't think that's the way you say that. So then I said, how do I say it? She said, Aynaz. And I was like, we can do this. This is not that hard. We're pretty smart people here in America. Well, we should be. So anyway, I just practiced it. But I think that's really important to remember your heritage and your culture. The Bible talks about that repeatedly. That's why we take communion, because we're supposed to remember the sacrifice of Jesus. And I feel like in a name, there's so much uh, identity. And I think when you just wipe out a name like that, I don't know, that just kind of messed with my head. So Aynaz, I do want to share with our listeners, if they've not had the beautiful opportunity of hearing from you before. I know you've been on before, just kind of interjected towards maybe the end of the show. But I want to share with you guys a little bit about Aynaz. She is not just the producer of Mission for Freedom, but as she described earlier, she's also the Glazov gang. She's the producer there. She's been with Jamie there for quite a long time. She's been a leading TV web programmer, and let me just say, this what we're going to talk about today is kind of maybe sometimes some of those things you want to plug your ears, like you might have some cognitive dissonance. I ask you to lean into this information and just lean in and ask the Holy Spirit, our helper, the Spirit of truth, ask him what he would have you to do with this information. It might be different for all of us, but learn the information, at the very minimum, know the truth, and then just talk about it in your immediate circles. But what she has endured is it's really hard to hear, honestly, if I'm being truthfully and brutally honest. She was abused. As I said, she was a child bride. She was imprisoned in the Islamic Republic of Iran. She escaped to America. Her beautiful grandmother, thank God for her. God bless her soul, rest in peace. She's not with us anymore, but she helped her escape to America because essentially Inez was being tortured in her own family, sold and a slave. I mean, not a bride, really, like a slave. She was sold into sex slavery and abused and tortured. And when you speak out for that, it doesn't go very well. I'll just let her expound on that later. And now she's a human rights advocate for all humans, but especially women, and women who are still subjugated and tortured by Sharia. And I wanted to share this video before Inez hops on, because I could say all this till I'm blue in the face, but there's nothing like hearing her talk. And so I'm telling you up front, I'm trying to hook you in to our conversation today. I want you to hear from her own mouth before we start talking about some of these other things. I want you to hear just a clip. This is from 2018. She spoke, and this is a video that's had millions, millions with an S views from the Illinois Family Institute. So if we can play that, Inez, real quick, I'd like to play this 1 minute clip. Check this out.
Moving forward, the man who bought me decided to pretty much look at me as a punching bag. Obviously, to him, it's a marriage. So my life after that was either he was raping me or he was beating me. In all fairness, sometimes he decided to do both. So one day I got tired of being beat up. After he was done beating me, I went to the court and tried to get myself a divorce. I walked into a court with a dislocated shoulder, bloody lip, and a bruised face. Went to a judge and I said, "Your Honor, you have got to save me because this man is going to kill me." He looked up very calmly with a smile and said, "Well, young lady, maybe you should start obeying your husband so he doesn't have to beat you. Now go home and make him happy." I was 15 by then.
I was 15 by then. I'm just telling you what, you need to listen to this video, and it all you have to do is type in Aynaz Cyrus. I just typed in Aynaz Cyrus speech, YouTube, and then in Chicago. I didn't know it was 2018, but if you put those keywords in there, you will find it. I'm telling you what. I mean, just listening to that clip, I almost start crying because I cannot even imagine what that would be like to hear, to go for help legally, go for help, and to have someone say that. And I know that we hear that, we think, well, that's over there, that's happening over there, which is horrible. But what Inez is here to tell us today is that it's not just over there, it's actually on American soil. And that's why I wanted to have her on, because she's not just a victim, but she's a victor. And she's also an incredibly brilliant educator, researcher, teacher. And so she's going to share with us today what some of these things mean. And I've talked about this for quite a while. I've talked about Mao's Cultural Revolution in China. And I wanted to just share some common themes about some of these tyrannical, abusive governments. So before she hops on, I wanted to share how Mao started this cultural revolution where he killed 1.5 million people, 1.5. This was according to history.com. And he lied. And he said that the revolution would lead to a better society. And remember how he pitted the black class against the red, the bourgeoisie against the proletariats, the rich versus the poor, the landowners versus the folks renting or the landlords renting housing. You know, he pitted them against each other, and he caused the proletariat, the poor people, to rise up and literally kill the bourgeoisie, the richer class. Capitalism, he couldn't maintain power with capitalism, running the country. And then we saw, but the key is that he lied, and he presented it as that it would create a better society. Hitler, history.com says, this is exactly the quote. Though the Nazis never attained more than 37% of the vote at the height of their popularity in 1932, Hitler was able to grab absolute power in Germany, largely due to divisions, right? Like pitting them against each other, and inaction among the majority who oppose Nazism. Inaction. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Wikipedia reports that 5.5 to 6.9 million people died. 5.5 million to 6.9 million people died under the abusive, tyrannical Hitler regime. Inaction. And they lie, and they present it like this, this helpful thing. And then we can also look at the Soviet Union and the Bolshevik revolution. They create the division, they divide and conquer. That's why that's a saying. And now, if you're not following Aynaz Cyrus's Substack, I'm just telling you, I've been begging her to write a book for a really long time. And I want to read this quote, and I'm going to have her hop back on and talk about this. But in one of her most recent Substacks, she wrote, quote, "Across Texas, something deeply troubling is taking shape, a quiet but deliberate transformation of our communities, institutions, and values under the guise of, quote unquote, religious freedom." She continues to say, what's happening isn't random. It's not isolated. It's part of a calculated strategy that's now impossible to ignore, a strategy that uses America's own Constitution as a weapon. Aynaz, where is this happening? And tell us how these folks, these tyrants who are lying and presenting this as like a religious freedom component, how are they starting to take over America?
Sure, but let me just take 1 minute, Miriam, to address all of our audience across all platforms. As Miriam mentioned, I am her producer. So when I'm on air with her, I'm still the producer. So I want to apologize to Miriam and all our audience. You'll see me turn my head and hand at times. That is not me being disrespectful. I'm clicking on things and checking on things. Also, I'm keeping an eye on all the comments. So as Miriam said again, feel free to jump in and make comments, questions, anything. So that being said, I started getting the news, Miriam, about, I want to say probably about 2 months ago. I heard whispers that, oh, Epic City is being built. And by the ways, I'm going to do this a lot. My audience is used to it, so your audience isn't. I jump all over the place, but I will close that in with a conclusion. Have you ever noticed, Miriam, how very smart these Muslims are when it comes to picking names? We have CARE, Council for American Islamic Relations. CARE, because they care so much, right? Now we have Epic City. I mean,
well, they care about their power. Let's be honest.
They care about their caliphate. So, anyways, side note that they are so brilliant when it comes to picking all of their project names. I heard about Epic City. And I believe it's East Plano Islamic Center. So that's where Epic comes from. I started looking into it. Immediately, I knew it's bad news. Why? Because the man behind it, Yasser Qadi, as Americans would say, he's the man behind this idea. And I have pretty much studied Yasser Qadi, not just myself. There's a handful of us. I would say the main source of a study, if you want to know about Yasser Qadi, go to Worldview. Tube.com. Brannon House has done excessive research and exposed Yasser Qadi before. I've done the same thing. So the moment I see the name, I'm like, bad news. So,
and let me just interject real quick, because I just recently you've educated me and told me his name, but I wanted to desperately share some of his quotes. It says he refers to Christians, and this is in her Substack, as, quote, filthy polytheists whose lives, quote, hold no value, end quote, in jihad. That was an Islamic seminar in 2006. And he justifies the killing of homosexuals under the Islamic law. That was in Islamic Center of Tennessee and the recorded lectures. He denies the Holocaust only to later clarify under pressure. And this man is an evil tyrant, guys, and he is looking to destroy the very fabric of liberty and the Christian foundational truths that our country was framed and built on.
Yes, and there are, I think I quoted like 3 or 4 of what he has said publicly, but anybody who just look him up, Yasser Qadi, right? Just look him up, watch some of his videos. You can't deny where he stands when it comes to Islam versus America, or Islam versus West, or Islam versus non-Islam. Yeah, that's better. Islam versus humanity. That's the perfect way of saying it. That's where you can see where Yasser Qadi stands. He is not shy. He is not hiding it. And he has built plenty of mosques across America, including the one in Plano, Texas. Not the one they're working on.
Can we show that picture real quick? Let's show the picture. And it's in Epic City. Josephine. Yes, I screenshot this today. I'm in Tulsa. So I'm in Tulsa. I circled Josephine, Texas. Look, guys, where it is. It's right outside of Dallas, literally right. So East Plano, right outside of Dallas. And if you go almost due north, a little bit east, but if you go almost due north, you can see Tulsa. There is my hometown, my city. So it's probably about 3 hours and 45 minutes drive from Tulsa. And so this is not in California or, you know, super liberal New York City or this is in
Dearborn, Michigan.
Thank you. I was just going to say Michigan. Yeah. Tampon Tim. Anyway, I just am saying that this is right down the road, and this is not just right down the road, but it's in another red state. So it's like, it's in our face at this point, Aynaz.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just any red estate. For example, let me jump for a minute. In 2018, in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, they opened a building, well, kind of 3 buildings on the same land, called for interfaith dialogue. And it's called Tri-Faith community. If you walk into that land, there's a church, there's a synagogue, there's a mosque. Right? This was in Omaha, Nebraska in 2018. Now, I'm going to give you a quick funny story, and by funny, I mean tragic. You walk into that community, you see the church, you see the synagogue, and then you see the mosque. The mosque has the normal Islamic symbol right on top, giant. Church doesn't have a cross displayed. Synagogue doesn't have the Star of David displayed. Tri-faith?
Interesting.
Are you kidding me? And then when I talked to the rabbi there, by the way, I've been banned from that entire land. Like literally they kicked me out, and then they basically told me you can never step into our private property again. Why? Because I simply asked the rabbi and the pastor of what kind of bridge are you building when you're not even displaying the symbol of your faith in order not to offend your neighbor.
Wow.
That's the thing. Nebraska, okay. It's Nebraska. It used to be a red estate. Now we all know it's kind of split in half. It's kind of purple. 1 point always goes to Democrats. 1 point goes to Republicans. So it's not necessarily a red estate, but we still consider it a red estate. Texas is supposed to be don't mess with Texas. What happened? Forget about what happened. When did it happen?
Yeah.
This isn't something that started 2 months ago when I heard the rumors. Yasser Qadi himself has said that he's been thinking and planning and working towards this epic city for 13 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
But I have said, and I know you don't mind doing it, for me to do a shameless plug, I do encourage everybody to go and follow my Substack. Now, Monday through Friday, all my articles are for free, so you don't even have to be a paid subscriber. Do I publish behind paywall? Yes, but 5 days a week you get the free Substacks. Why do I want you to?
It's amazing, Aynaz. It's amazing. You're a phenomenal writer, and it's so educational, and they're not super long.
That's one thing I'm very good at is writing or talking. I can get to the point. I don't have to drag it on. But the reason I want people to follow or subscribe to my Substack and follow and read is I point out one of the things I have said it, Dr. Bill Warner has said it repeatedly. And by the way, so if you don't know who Dr. Bill Warner is, why? Find him, follow him. Robert Spencer has said it, Pamela Geller has said it, Daniel Greenfield, Jamie Klasov, we have all said that one thing that is one of the top 3 things that is causing this global caliphate to win and to speed up while we're still trying to figure out where we're standing is because Muhammad taught patience to his soldiers. And to this day, they have the patience to sit down, brainstorm, plan, and perfectly execute their plan. If we would put aside all those who would love to entertain the inside job of September 11 and would look at actual factual evidence on the table, we would realize September 11 wasn't planned overnight. It was over 8 years of discussion and planning. And the original concept of we will fly iron birds into their buildings came from the first day of Ayatollah Khomeini landing in Iran in 1979. He threw this topic out there. So they have the patience, the same thing. Now, we don't see it. We don't realize about 12 years ago, 14 to 12 years ago, suddenly Iranian, Syrian, Pakistani, and Afghan refugees were poured into Dallas and Fort Worth. Nobody paid attention. Somebody did. But all the people of Dallas like, oh, diversity, we're going to have Persian food, and we're going to have Arab stores, and we're going to have hookah bars. That's all they could see. They didn't even think for a second of why. Why is suddenly Fort Worth and Dallas becoming a hotspot for these refugees specifically from these countries? Well, there you have it. This is why. Because they need to be majority in numbers to make a move.
And I was reading, guys, she's not kidding when she says it's not self-serving when she says this to read her Substack. She really is a fighter of freedom and just wants us all to be educated. And we're let's be honest, we're not hearing a lot about this, just obviously in the mainstream media, or really a lot of podcasters aren't talking about this. This is like something that people don't really know a lot about. And so I think they kind of shy away from this. But Aynaz lived this terror. She lived this nightmare. She lived through the torture. And then she sees this on our soil and is like, guys, wake up, at least at the very minimum, talk about this. So Epic City, I don't know, Aynaz, if you have access to the promotional video from Epic City, but I was wondering if you did, if we could play that. If not, that's fine. We'll just move on.
I can, let's make a quick correction. I do have the video and I can play it, but we're going to play it as a B-roll because it's all in Arabic. It's like a minute something of Arabic. And it is promotional, but it's not necessarily promotional. It's a report. It's an Arabic news channel that is reporting on the Epic City and what's happening with it. So yes,
they're
but
probably very excited about it over there, huh? Like
you can kind of see. I'll let you be the judge of it. You can continue saying what you need to say, and I'll put it up as B-roll.
Let's roll it then. Okay. So I'm sure they're quite excited about it because, it's in Red, Texas, of all places, which I don't find accidental. And I think it's interesting how large Texas is, and that's where they landed this first. But so she wrote in her Substack that this Epic City is a 402-acre master plan and is, quote, marketed as a peaceful, self-sustained Muslim community, end quote. So, but as I'm curious to have Aynaz talk about, like, what is really the goal? Because they're going to have over 1,000 homes, schools and colleges and law offices. And Aynaz says in her Substack, see, there it is, 402 acres. That's massive. I don't know if you guys can wrap your head around the size of this, but 402 acres is enormous. And, they're making it look like it's so beautiful and like, oh, everybody would want to live there, right? Even Americans who are not Muslim would want to live there. Like, this is so beautiful and so cool. But remember when Aynaz started off, remember that clip I played of her as she shared her story about going to the judge? I mean, this is Sharia, guys. This is the law that subjugates and and abuses women and uses the Quran, which says that you can beat your women if these wives, if they disobey. Like, it's encouraged if they disobey. This is what's happening. This is the type of ideology that this crazy man is injecting into America and into red Texas, a 3 hours and 45 minutes from my house. And this is what I loved about what Aynaz said. She's an amazing writer. I'm telling you, even if this doesn't rock your world, which it should scare the tar out of people. She's a beautiful writer. And I'm going to drop several different truth bombs that she shared. I'm like, man, that's good. And it makes you just stop and think about it. She said, this is not just about real estate. You call it a soft, sophisticated invasion, which they have said they will bring Islam to the forefront. You called it a soft, sophisticated invasion, Aynaz. I thought that was very powerful.
Thank you. Well, you just saw the video. Soft and sophisticated. When you look at the mock-up they're showing, as you said, it's just like another community in America. Yeah, instead of a tennis court, it has a soccer court. Okay, but other than that, the mock-up they're showing you is yet another beautiful, well-made American community. But then let me read a few things. I'm going to look this way because I have the notes. I'm going to hit on a few key points of what this reporter is talking about to the best of my ability to pronounce words. So here it goes. The project's announcement triggered a wave of criticism from several American lawmakers. Some members of Congress are expressing a strong opposition, fearing the project could isolate the Muslim community or be a step toward establishing an Islamic enclave. However, the man behind the project, Yasser Qadi, has said that this project is nothing more than a real estate development aimed to meeting the needs of a growing Muslim community. Two problems there, Miriam. Number one, growing Muslim community. That's not a good news. That's a terrible news. In their own Quran, Allah told them, do not call for peace when you are majority in numbers. Look what happened in Michigan. The cities that they conquered are now they have no-go zones. Quick story, 2017. I had a speaking engagement in Dearborn, Michigan, got a direct call from one of the sergeants at police department saying, is there any way we can talk you out of coming to our town? And when I said no, he said, then we need you to move the venue to our police department parking lot so we can guarantee your safety. For anybody who thinks Dearborn is not completely conquered, Dearborn doesn't have no-go zones. The police department couldn't guarantee my safety unless I did my speech in their parking lot. By the way, the video of that speech is available on my channel and on my website. So you can actually watch and you notice the snipers, police and snipers on the roof.
That's liveuptofreedom.com, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When was that, Aynaz?
2017.
What year?
2017.
17.
2017.
Not very long ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago. And it has gotten worse. It's worse now. We have the town that I can never pronounce that is completely Sharia now. The entire from what do we call the mayor? From the mayor all the way to the person who's stapling all the paperwork are Sharia obeying Muslims.
Wow.
So
and
first of all,
Sharia, I want to connect the dots. When you're saying Sharia, what she's saying, guys, is Sharia is based on the law that says women are property. You can punch them, beat them, do whatever if they don't obey you. I mean, they're not even just property. They're slaves. They're sex slaves. Let's just call it what it is.
Well,
they're
that's not.
Bags.
This is a strange one. It comes from me. That's not the worst part of Sharia, Miriam. On one of my recent, I think yesterday, I believe it is the yesterday or today Substack, I brought up the worst part of Sharia, which is number one, the worst, if I would hit the worst part. I have 3 books right here. The bottom one is reliance of the traveler, that I actually use a lot of when I write these Substacks or when I do my speaking engagement, whatever the case might be. In reliance of the traveler, it makes it very clear. Reliance of the traveler, by the way, is Sharia. When we keep talking Sharia, this book is Sharia. It literally make it very clear that if a Muslim or a non-Muslim of Christian, Jew, Zoroastrian, or a Buddhist kill a ex-Muslim, they shall walk free. That's what Sharia dictates. If you were born a Muslim and you walked from Islam, became an ex-Muslim, anybody else gets to kill you and not face any consequences, because the number one biggest sin, that is absolutely no question, they don't even give you a chance to come back to Islam, you shall be killed, is walking away from Islam. Now the second one, Christians and Jews, you get a chance to be a second-class citizen, dhimmi, for a while. When you run out of money to pay your jizya, which is the protection money, then again, your options are convert or die. Those are worse. Again, coming from me, it means a lot when I say how they treat women isn't the worst part of Sharia. But in America, the worst part is all of us ex-Muslims can be killed. Every Christian, every Jew, every non-Muslim who's not an atheist gets a chance to be a second-class citizen or convert or end up dying. That's what Sharia stands for. And again, don't believe me. Go do your own research. Go look at the number of executions that's happening in 50 Islamic countries every single morning before sunup, based on being minority in religion or being an ex-Muslim.
Yeah, and the growth, and read her Substacks. I'm not kidding. Like, you will learn so much, and you don't have to just research it on your own. She summarizes it for you and shows you where she's getting this information. But one thing that I found incredibly disturbing was the fact that there are goals and plans to have Epic City 2.0 and to go to Tennessee and to some of these other areas. I mean, again, another red state. It's just so fascinating to me. It's so demonic, but it's just so fascinating to me how they're boldly going into the red states and just trying to take ground.
Yes. And here's, by the way, quickly mentioning why they are growing in red states way more than blue states. First of all, let's talk about red-green axis. But before I do the red-green axis, let me step over as your producer. We do need to go to our sponsor break. So let's go ahead and take our ad break, and then we talk about red-green axis and why they're winning red estates. How's that, Miriam?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day, and I absolutely love it, and so will you.
Well, hello everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. link, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com.
Guys, you should just check that out. Even if you don't, you're like, oh, I'm not going to buy anything. I just cannot tell you how amazing this artist is. She's not just a producer. She's not just a researcher. She's just not a freedom loving patriot standing and risking her life every single day. You heard what she said. She's a target now because she's left this tyrannical, abusive ideology and I'm not going to say religion, a cult, but this is one way that we can support her and support truth. I know a lot of times we're like, oh, we're hearing this information today and we're like, what do I do with this? Like, this is heavy. I don't know anybody. I don't have time or what have you. You can subscribe to her Substack and then you can go to lutfstudio.com or mypillow.com and use the code MISSION and purchase something. But at the very minimum, you could just go check it out. She's really, really talented. Her pieces are absolutely lovely. And my favorite part, I've said, if you've listened to the show more than once, you've heard me say this, is that I love customization. I love color coordination. And when you go to a store to buy something, you're kind of forced to use whatever they have there in your home. And if you go to lutfstudio.com, you can email Aynaz and you can say, hey, I'm looking for a resin piece like this and this color. Is this something you could do? And she can email you back or call you if you prefer to talk to her on the phone. So go to lutfstudio.com. Head over there and just check it out today. You don't have to grab anything. You can just look and just see. And then if you find something you like, or if you can come up with something in your head, shoot her an email or give her a call and she'll get back with you. So anyway, Aynaz, welcome back. You are just a jack of all trades. And I love how you have several different outlets for your creativity. So the studio is amazing. Have you made anything recently? Or are you getting ready to make something soon?
Thank you. Yes, I actually last weekend I did some pours. They're not ready to be posted, but there's probably about 10 or so new pieces coming in about a week or so. They will be ready soon. But we got plenty of inventory right now on lutfstudio.com for people to grab. I did post some recent crosses, so they tend to be my bestseller. I love it. They're custom made.
And then you can head over to My Pillow and grab a Rev 7. I know sometimes I see these energy drinks. I don't know about you, Aynaz, but I try to stay away from them because I feel like I see so many Instagram reels about how bad they are for you and excessive caffeine, especially as you age. I'm 56. They say caffeine strips calcium from your bones. And so I try not to drink those, but I love the Rev 7 because it's not using the same ingredients that regular energy drinks use, but yet you have the benefit of the energy in that can. And so I just think that's a win-win.
I am guilty of being a energy drink drinker. Who came up with English words? Who cares?
I know, right?
But I am guilty of that. And I don't think it's necessarily the energy, but it's the taste. But one thing I will say is even if you don't drink energy drinks, that's okay. Just go to mypillow.com or mystore.com. I'm pretty sure there's at least 10 items there that you just need in your house. There are pillows, there are bed sheets, towels. I love their throw blankets because I'm that person. Like I'm always wrapped in a blanket if I'm watching TV or something. Just buy something because not to get distracted from the main topic, but come on, Mike Lindell has lost so much and this guy is not giving up. I love that about Mike Lindell, by the way. Whenever you talk to him, his upbeat, his positive, his praying is like nothing to worry about. So the whole purpose is there is something for you that you're going to need, even if it's not Rev 7. If you don't want to do the energy, that's fine. So grab something, support Mike Lindell, because, with everything going on, Miriam can say this, I can say this, Mike Lindell can, we can all say, we do what we do, but trust me, we still got bills to pay. Believe it or not, we don't get free stuff. We don't. We should have. If we would have voted for Bernie Sanders, though, we needed Bernie Sanders to get free stuff. Okay, fine. Bad joke.
Okay, we're losing it. So we're going to get back to our mission here, our mission for freedom in America. So anyway, I
I'm
just wanted
sorry,
to
I'm going to
encourage you
interrupt you
guys.
one more time because
Okay.
as we were getting ready to get on air, I'm like, who's going to supervise us? Because me and Miriam on air, we need supervision, or we're going to be like bouncing off the walls talking
Guys,
about stuff.
you should hear our conversations. Like we can be, I know, so how long is our record? Is it 3 hours and something? Our record
4
phone
hours,
call?
17 minutes.
Okay, she remembers everything. She doesn't write anything down. She doesn't keep a calendar.
I do have a
She's
pen
that
though.
person. Oh yeah. So I remember, and I screenshot it. It's just been a while, and I thought, oh my God. I texted her right before the show started, and I said, Aynaz, we are going to run out of time today. This is like a 5-hour conversation. She's like, oh, we've got 4 shows to cover this. I'm like, no. This epic city and this soft, sophisticated invasion of America is a 5-hour conversation. And she's laughing. Like she knows it's true. So yeah,
It
there's
is
nobody
true.
to supervise us today. So I'm gonna
Yes.
bring us back on here. So I wanted to. I know you were getting ready to talk about the axis.
Yes.
Right before we go there, though, I just wanted to get this again, guys. Remember, I told you to subscribe to your Substack. This is a quote from her in her Substack, and she said that basically, you heard her use the words interfaith, like that's how they're selling this. They're marketing this as like an interfaith plan and all of that. But this is what you said, Aynaz. You said they are, quote, they are using the First Amendment to destroy the First Amendment. I mean, wow, that is like a massive truth bomb. And I just had to sit there and think about that for a minute. They're using our Constitution, our amendments, our freedoms, our religious, quote unquote, religious liberty to destroy our religious liberty.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's funny you say that because on the video that we played, when they're quoting Yasser Qadi, he finishes his thought by saying, there are no legal violations involved, and he stresses that it is their constitutional right to practice their religion freely. He used that.
Wow.
He used that.
Wow.
They use it all. Listen, Ilhan Omar, what has she been trying to do since day one? Push for anti-Islamophobia bill.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now I can hear people out there saying, well, it hasn't been passed. It's not about it being passed or not. It's about the gesture. What do they all have in common? Silence us, become louder themselves. Until the day that they can actually control what's happening in the country. And I know it's normally not on my watch, and I hate to break it to you guys. Iran has history of over 2,800 years. You really think if Islam was able to conquer a land with over 2,800 years of history, culture, knowledge, wisdom, you really think it's going to be that hard to conquer the baby-born America? Well, think again.
Yep.
Especially the way we're going. Because it's much more comfortable to look the other way. And it's a lot more comfortable. I think, Miriam, we had this discussion yesterday or one of these days that it's a lot more, it's confusing because everybody can say, but wait, I have a coworker or a neighbor or a brother, somebody out there who's a Muslim, and they're very nice, right? They have played that confusion into our society. But bottom line is, it's not about, listen, is every Christian a good Christian? I know I'm not. Do I show up at church every Sunday? Absolutely not. I don't.
We're working on that. We're working on it, though.
Working on it. We get there. Point being, not every single person who follows a specific guidance in their life, one where not every co-worker is equally good either. It's just human nature. Okay, are there 5 Muslims around Dearborn who don't want to kill all of us? Probably. But am I going to be okay with the remaining 110 of them who showed up at my rally screaming at me? No. So, they are using our Constitution, and we're allowing them, Miriam. At the end of the day, whatever they are, whoever they are, we're at fault because we're not pushing back. We don't even know what's happening. Again, probably 90% of this country have no idea about exposé going on. We have a lot of
Absolutely.
comments, by the way, and I know we promised to get to them. So, Miriam,
Okay,
if you
let's
don't
do.
mind, I want
Yeah,
to
let's do
let's
it.
at least address some of them. But there's one comment from the one of the YouTube channels. Pardon me, as I don't know which one, but it has a great point of saying it says it's sad that there are billions of people out there on internet, and at the moment there are only 7 watching. That's a great point. If we were sitting here,
Wow.
and I'll say that, yeah, I'll say it. If we were sitting here talking about Democrats being so bad and left being bad and AOC being a bartender, we would probably have 7 to 8,000.
No,
But
let's
that's
okay. Let's be honest, and I'm curious what this listener thinks about this. Let's be honest. What if we were talking about Taylor Swift? What if we
oh,
were
girl.
talking? You know what I'm saying? What if we were talking and showing reels and me like cat videos? I'm just
I can get my
saying.
cat if that helps.
I didn't even think about that when I said that. You know, and even TikTok in China is different than TikTok in America. I mean, we are dumbed down. We are distracted. We've become driven by comfort and we're lazy. Let's just be honest. So I love that wonderful listener, what they said. That's powerful. Sad,
Agreed.
but powerful.
Agreed. Okay. Guys, I know there's a lot of comments and we were very grateful,
Can
but
we do one more? Can we do one more?
yes, I'm gonna actually just try to see if I can find, just random. We have this one, Edward from YouTube again. We, the people of the United States, went from freedom of religion to religious freedom. As long as we remain the United States, there will never be Sharia. Go to countries that have it, not here. Edward, you're actually one of my great listeners on YouTube, and I already addressed your concern. I know you think it's not going to happen on your watch, but guess what? Already happened. Head over to
It's
Dearborn,
happening
Michigan.
now. Yep.
Just head over to Dearborn, Michigan, or apparently now Plano, Texas. And
Ugh.
actually, Miriam, I don't know if you've looked into it, but Nashville, Tennessee is kind of sort of gone too.
Oh.
Nashville, Tennessee already has 3 representatives who are Muslim from local,
This was
state,
later
federal.
on in the show, but you in one of your Substacks, and you can tell me. I don't even know if I jotted it down. Oh yeah, when you talked about bold growth, that there are 260 Sharia-aligned Muslims, and they're projecting. I think by 26, you said 300 and something, and I was like, these are not just Muslims like you talked about that don't really practice it, but these are Sharia-driven, upholding Muslims who are in our government. That's terrifying.
Well, let me contradict myself for a minute here.
Okay.
It doesn't even matter. Well, let's talk about Rashida Tlaib. By definition, she's not obeying Sharia. She's not wearing the hijab. Well, technically, neither is Ilhan Omar. The only one of these crazies out there is Linda Sarsour, who does the proper hijab because she covers the neck and she covers the forehead, But Rashida Tlaib is a perfect example of a non-obeying Sharia Muslim if she can't walk around the way she does in Islamic countries. However, that still doesn't help the situation that she hates us and she wants to wipe Israel off the map. The very first week when she came to office, if you remember, she wore a t-shirt with the Israeli map but covered completely with Palestinian flag, and she also used a notepad to pin over her office map covering the Israeli map with a note of Palestine. So let me contradict myself, it doesn't even matter if they do properly follow Sharia or not. It doesn't matter. The level of their hatred toward us and their commitment to their Allah doesn't change. Now, it's just between them and their Allah when they die, if they're going to get the 72 versions or not.
Yeah. And I guess it's just astounding to me that they can practice this or subscribe to this ideology as a woman in America, and yes, I know they have a target on their back, and I'm not saying that's any little thing, because you said that's the biggest thing, more than being tortured and more than living a life as a sex slave. So I'm not minimizing in the least, but you would think in America where you can protect other women from that and stand up for other women and stand up for yourself and live a life of freedom, and why you would not be like you and fight for liberty and fight for justice for all, including women and female children. It's just astounding to me that someone can, and I guess I understand that they're brainwashed and this has been injected in their mind since they were like, toddlers or whatever. But it is incredible, especially as women, that there's one woman in America that is standing for Sharia. It's just mind blowing to me.
I know. We have a comment here from Lady Tanya from Colorado, actually, and she says, I already was treated like a dhimmi. Dhimmi is a second-class citizen under Islam. In Aurora, Colorado, when the assigned MD refused to enter the exam room because I started listening to my Jewish... Oh, I'm sorry. Listing my Jewish background. I didn't know she was Muslim until after. So there you go. In 2018 in Aurora, Colorado, Lady Tanya was refused to be seen by a Muslim doctor because she actually mentioned that she's a Jew.
Wow. Right here in America, folks. Right here in America. It's unbelievable. It's happening. It's happening right now under our noses, and not really under our noses, in our faces.
That's why when I have the comments like it's never going to happen, it's like, I'm sorry, it has already happened.
Yeah,
it has already happened. Listen, let me go me for a minute here. I am sitting here talking to everybody with 12 bounties on my head. 12 bounties on my head. 12 bounties that says I shall be killed. They all have their own different description. Taken back to Iran, be hunged. I have a stoning. But point is, 7 of those were issued from mosques inside United States of America, including a tiny itsy bitsy town village in Missouri called Noel, Missouri, where it was very specific that she shall be burned by acid.
Aynaz.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not ever speechless, as you know. In America.
7.
Wow.
I have less judgment and bounties from Islamic Republic of Iran that I fight every day openly than I do from imams inside the United States of America. So tell me again how Sharia is never going to happen in America.
It's here. It's here.
And that's why we're behind. No disrespect to Edward and his comment. The reason we are not catching on is because we're denying the reality. It's time to say, listen, they did what they did. We feel how we feel. And now it's time to face music. Boom. Sharia's here. How do we fight it? Oh, it's actually very easy because technically in our Constitution, any foreign laws are forbidden from being practiced inside the United States of America. Look up Sharia, translation, Islamic laws. Or, let me see if I can grab this real quick. Reliance of the Traveler, that is being taught in every Islamic school, including the little cute Islamic community centers you have in America. They all teach this, Reliance of the Traveler. What does it say? Reliance of the Traveler, a classic manual of Islamic sacred laws. Sharia. Right here. Sacred laws. So it's not even that hard to ban Sharia. Sharia is already banned in United States of America. Now, are we going to actually push our representatives to really enforce that law? Or are we going to keep denying? Say, oh, Sharia is not going to get here. Okay. Your choice.
Yeah, and that quote, you I think you hit the nail on the head. Well, you've hit multiple nails on the head, but one of them, Aynaz, is when you talked about the language, the language and the words, the epic city. I mean, that is that's very intentional. It's not just something that happened. It's not random. I mean, this is what Mao did in the Cultural Revolution in China. This is what Hitler did. I mean, they use these words, and I believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was Saul Alinsky who said, when you control the language, you control the masses. And so I think that's why it's incredibly important to be very tuned in to the words that are used and to look at original sources. I've preached that from day one, whether it's your children learning about something, whether it's you learning about something, if a pastor says something, go to the Word of God, find the scripture, read along, bring your Bible to church, go to church, go to church, go to church. Okay, I said that. But anyway, I mean, it's so important that we understand that we are being targeted and marketed to with these words, and we need to know, okay, this is what they're saying, what's really going on. And that's why, again, I love your Substack, Aynaz. I get the email every day, and it's just mind blowing to me. First of all, you're an amazing writer. I've told you that a million times. I'll tell you again today, you're an amazing writer. But these things that you're talking about are happening right now in these red states, and there are things that we can do to push back.
There are so many things we can do. It's, again, so many simple things we can do. But why would we? Why would we? There are distractions, and then, as you said, there's always, that, and that on the weekend I got to go to this game and that game, and there's the football game, and then there's another football game, and there's the basketball season is starting, and then there's summer's coming. We got to go to concerts, and we got to go golf. And I'm not saying drop your life like I do. I'm gonna start picking up my life, actually. But what I'm saying is 5 minutes a day isn't that hard to spend on studying your enemy. I would love to know how we're planning to fight an enemy that we don't even know is an enemy. We think they are here to coexist with us because that's the narrative we're being fed, right? And I know we both predicted that we're going to run out of time before we can touch on a lot of the topics we were going to touch. I know. But
I just looked out at the time.
I know. I'm if you don't mind me announcing. So, guys, I'm actually completely very softly and sophisticated invading Miriam's show for next 3 episodes.
We're gonna all join each other and give her a hand together. We're very excited about this.
So make sure to follow on Rumble or YouTube. Follow Miriam's channel. It's Mission for Freedom. Mission for Freedom. Subscribe to whichever one is your preferred platforms. Thursday, next week, Tuesday and Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central Time. I'll be back with Miriam. We're gonna keep talking about this topic. Come back. We're giving you enough time to kind of let it sink in and then, have a couple of beers, digest the whole thing. Come back for more information and invite your friends and family to tune in because this epic city is happening. It's happening.
It is happening. And
it's not just up to people of Dallas or Plano or even Texas to stop it. It's up to every single one of us to stop it from happening. I feel like I literally just took over your show. I'm sorry, Miriam.
I love it.
I will make one more announcement that soon, we don't have the date yet, but very soon, there will be a new show once a week that will be me and Miriam actually just coming on and bouncing off the walls. And I promise on that one, we will address every single comment, even if it's just saying that we're bad people.
Hello.
It's gonna be a live Q&A with me, Miriam, and all of you. So stay tuned for that as well.
Oh, Aynaz, thank you so much. I was very excited about today. Very, very excited. And I love learning and I love being activated and encouraging others to become activated. And I have to just finish with this quote. You said, okay, first of all, she said to follow Mission for Freedom. Also follow Aynaz on her Facebook and her Substack because this quote came from one of her Substacks. I told you I'd have several truth bombs. She said, quote, if we do not defend our freedoms, someone else will use them to destroy us. There you go. Have a great day on that one, right? Thank y'all so much for joining us. Thanks for your comments and joining us live. And thank you so much for standing up to protect our country. Aynaz, I can't wait to have you back. And y'all just have a great day and come back next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Till then, stay in the battle and stand up for all of our freedoms we have in America. And God bless you.